Walked and picked up the
It was
guitar
like
and started
someone
playing
gave
that
us a
part.
song.
It's just-
Someone literally gave us a song.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Wet Sand?
Wet Sand.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a beautiful song.
Is it?
This is one of my favorite songs on the record.
Top 5?
Top 5. Like if I'm gonna play songs for people, if I'm gonna pick 5 and
You
just
play
play
Wet
them like
Sand.
a selection of 5, I play Wet Sand every time.
Yeah.
And a few things stand out to me about it. One is just John came out in with all these beautiful chord progressions, and there was a lot of it, and it was all in these different pieces.
It was in pieces.
And then the first day we worked with Rick, or the second day or something,
Right.
he changed all the pieces around. He said, try this, try that, and it really worked.
That's right.
And I remember it was a real good way to open the pre-production process because you know, Rick's always telling us to do things, and we're like, what do you mean? No way, we're
You're
not gonna try
kidding.
that. And he goes,
What?
please just try everything. If you don't like it, we'll put it back. But he had us do all these things we never would have thought of, and it came out so great. You know, like all of those parts that John had come up with, it really was like, it became such a dynamic song, you know. And this is one song. Did John come up with the lyrics and just you perform in Wet Sand? Those weren't his words?
No, he came in with the chords at the end with the melody,
Right.
a vocal melody.
Oh,
And
okay.
when I went up to him and I was like, John, do you mind if I use your vocal melody? Because I love it and I really don't want to.
Right.
And he usually prefers me to go find my own.
Right.
And he was like, oh, okay, I guess if you want to use that melody, you can use that melody.
Yeah.
And then I was like, also, I heard a couple of words in there that you were mumbling, and I kind of liked them. And he's like, oh, no, it was gibberish.
Yeah.
I was like, I know, but I heard something that sounded cool to me. And he was like, no, really, I was just making up sounds and blah, blah, blah.
I wasn't going to tell him what I was saying when I was singing him the melody of that section. I didn't want to use my words, but he really wanted to know. What are you saying? What are you saying?
And I was like, did you say wet sand? He's like, yeah, I think I said wet sand. Wet sand was part of the thing.
So he forced me to say what I was actually saying, and then he ended up using that. And then I almost was like, well, I got a whole other page of lyrics here if you want to see, but I let it alone. I just let him do his thing with it.
I just took wet sand, those 2 words, and went back, sort of worked backwards through the song.
I get the feeling, and this is an interesting thing, because I'm going to say what the lyrics make me feel, and it's probably not what they're about at all, because I don't know the lyrics.
Thank God.
I don't even know all the words, because it's always like I pick them up until I can see the lyrics and read them. I don't know them. Like, I just go on little pieces that I hear here and there, But the feeling that I get from it is that it's a love song, but it's a special love song because it's not just about loving somebody and how great love is. It's about the darkness of love, too, and the lightness, and it's all together, and you love it all, and that's the biggest love that there is, because you're really loving the things that you don't like, too.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the feeling that I get from it. That's why, and that's so big to me. That's like the most universal thing.
Yeah, that's the theme of the whole record to me.
To me, too. What's Charlie about?
Lyrically?
Yeah.
The idea that came to me for Charlie was your imagination. Charlie is your imagination. It's like your imaginary thought process, your imaginary friend, your imaginary kind of, your sort of traveling muse / sprite / that little twinkle that gets you thinking and getting crazy ideas and good ideas and bad ideas. But as I was writing it, it seemed like it began to mean more than just one thing, which I actually preferred. I didn't want it just to mean your imagination. I wanted it to mean as many things as possible. Like, it could be your girl, it could be your drug, it could be whatever. Just kind of an all-purpose thing. But to me, it started off meaning your imagination. Yeah.
Charlie's pretty funky, man. It's one of our funkier numbers.
Yeah.
I must say.
Yeah, it's a funky one. I was happy because I'd made a guitar part that was in a different time signature than what the than what the bass and drums were in. Yeah. Every time I do a little something like that, it always feels like, oh, cool, like
I got one in there.
Yeah. Like,
when I heard that groove, it was a deeper and blacker kind of a funk feel, and it was probably my favorite instrumental track. Of any that and Hey were my favorite things to listen to with no lyrics at all. It rocked me so hard.
Yeah.
I would actually pull up next to people in cafes and
crank it up.
Just with no vocals on it, just the groove.
Yeah, they're good grooves.
Yeah.
Desecration Smile, a little number that has also been performed live way before we started even tracking this record.
When it had a different chorus.
and had a completely different chorus.
That was not very good.
It wasn't as good.
A very confusing chorus.
It was a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was Rick or somebody, I don't know who's thought that, yeah, I like that part, but I don't know about the chorus kind of thing. Somehow that came...
Rick, I guess, didn't like it, because Rick had been there at the bridge school benefit, and he said that song is incredible. When you guys go into the verse of that, it's amazing. He said Paul McCartney was watching from the side, and he saw Paul, like, nodding his head to it, or saying something like, that was a great change there, or something, and Rick was so excited, but he said the chorus of that song really wasn't taking off.
And it wasn't as good as the verse.
It wasn't as good as the verse, yeah. and we wanted one that was, if anything, better than the verse, or at least uplifting from the verse.
That was a song that we knew had something to offer big time.
Yeah.
But we had not found the puzzle. Yeah. We had not solved the puzzle until John brought in the new chorus.
You came in with
that, and it was good. It still had I remember there was a certain quality in the other chorus, that it went from major to minor when it went from the chorus back into the verse, and so I think I made even more of that, because I made a chorus that had a really major key feel, and then back into the dark verse and stuff.
I don't know the lyrics. I know bits of the lyrics, but it really feels like the dark side of love, like
it is.
Just the dark side of love.
Oof.
That you gotta love, because it's life. This is about a specific situation.
Well, you know, all of the love songs from my point of view, and this were pretty much written about Heather.
Right.
I mean, they're either written about Heather or they're written about previous relationships gone awry, and just kind of, you know, not analyzing why these things have gone bad, but just kind of more listening to music and channeling, you know, thoughts and images and ideas of what happened. So it's not really like psychoanalysis, but just kind of channel some shit.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
No, that song works out.
Yeah.
That song is coming from a real-ass place.
Yeah.
And it just worked out. To me, it haunts the hell out of me.
Right.
It's got a spell. You know, and I think it's a chordal thing.
Yeah.
There's some notes in those chords that just kind of go, whoosh,
yeah.
And then I feel like, what? What's happening?
I think it's everything, you know. I think like the chords are so beautiful. I feel like I love the way that the bass and the guitar hook up in that song. It has a real, like, it sounds a little woodsy to me, a little woody, like a natural tree.
When you pull out of the intro?
Tree.
When it pulls out of the intro and you just start driving?
Yeah, it's a real nice feel. You know?
I am jumping in that vehicle with you guys at that point.
Yeah, it's good. Hey.
Hey. Top 5.
My top 5 for
top 5.
Sure. It's one of my. I love the groove of Hey. I love the feeling of Hey. I love everything about Hey. It's such a good magical feeling on that song. Like, I feel like we just tapped into a real deep groove together on that.
Yeah, Rick came.
He loved him. Everybody goes, well, I hope
Rick
that's
was
you.
Really excited. It was another one of these ones where it really had a different feeling to it than any of the other songs had. Rick was like, I like that. It's light and jazzy.
So that was, we call it light and jazzy.
That was the working title, light and jazzy.
Yeah, and he would show up to rehearsal, and we'd get there and jam and stuff, and then he would show up. And I remember him coming in going, I was walking in, because there's 2 rehearsal places. There's one big room where we're in, and there's another room which is next door, and he was walking out in, and you could hear the music faintly, and he was digging it and going, I hope that's coming out of the Chili Pepper room.
He really didn't know if it was us or not. He said usually he knows what's us and what's another band. He was like, I hope that's them. And
I really like that. It's light and jazzy.
It's one of those songs that takes you away, and it takes you to an emotional place that is just powerful and beautiful and real and not sugar-coated.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, you know, it's not one of those things that gives you any kind of false hope. It just kind of feels real and beautiful and powerful.
Yeah. When I came up with the bass lines for Hey, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I just come up with the best bass line I've ever come up with in my entire life. I can't wait to get to rehearsal and play it for those guys. And I was so excited driving there. I was like, oh God, I gotta play this thing with these guys. I was so excited. Like, I came in like trying to become, I get this thing, I like it.
Yeah, just a little thing.
A little thing, but I was really excited.
Hey guys, you want to hear this thing? It's not much, but
it's like, you guys might like it. I was so excited about it, and I'm so happy that you guys loved it, because I was really, I always have this fear, God, they might not like it, you know.
Right.
And I was so happy that you guys liked it, and I was playing it, just me and Shad were playing it, and John was like kind of getting his guitar out, and not really, he was kind of like nodding his head a little bit, but he wasn't really like going, wow, or anything. He wasn't saying anything. And then he just picked up his guitar, strapped on, and just started, I think at the White Falcon.
Hit some chords.
Put it in the White Falcon and just started wailing
some
perfect part for it.
One of my favorite things in that song is the interaction between the drums and the lead guitar, because it had so much space in it. That bass part has so much space. So when you know, Chad came in with the groove that he came in with, it wasn't what Flea was expecting.
I have discovered that, much to my amazement, it is not a song for everyone. I think you have to be somewhat of a seasoned veterano of experience to get on the train of Hey.
You tell me youngsters don't like Hey?
I'm not saying, I'm saying that I've heard a couple of youngsters that didn't dislike Hey, but they didn't really get it.
Wow.
Yeah, I think you have to have been around the block a certain amount of times.
Wow.
I could be wrong.